for coming, but especially to thank everybody who daringly accepted my invitation to be part of this and generously lent their voices. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you to Hannah Alderfer, my great friend and graphic designer, who really planted the seeds of this project and realized this amazing book. And then thank you to Catherine, who
thank you for being here.
And her incredible team, Shannon, Deborah, Harris, for hosting this, for hanging it, for putting together this octopus of a project. So, we'll talk pictures. This is Elena Bird.
I wrote the introduction to the book, and I'm delighted to be part of this project. It's so amazing. And just in short, if you know what ekphrasis is, it's a writer's response to an artwork. And I just think that this is not just an inert collaboration that's normally associated with ekphrastic responses to art, but an more animated, dynamic engagement between individualized consciousness and language expressions that reveal their own interplay between image, idea, gesture, and the cinematic measure of time. So I'm going to just very briefly read the list of readers in order of their appearance, but they will come up and if they want to introduce their name again, they can. Manya's not here yet, so Manya's here. Oh, she is. Okay, fantastic. Manya Steinkohler, Eric Penke, Agnes Perez, David Humphrey, Sarah Greenberg Morse, Stephen Fraley, Lee Eiferman, Star Black, Mary Lucier, Stephen West, Lucier, I don't speak French, now I do. Stephen Westfall, Susan Lewis, Adam Simon, Charles Bernstein, is Nancy,
No.
Okay, and Paul Magoon. So please give a huge welcome to our
Jill. Yeah. Go. All right. So, two people are staring at this. Oh. A Jetson chair. You know, meet George Jetson, da-da-da-da-da-da. Inspiration, Metropolis. You're totally missing the color vibration. The music presenced by the color. Presence by. Okay, then something alive. I'm not invited. A kidney. Why should you be invited? A celestial 70s icy blue. The wee hint of Tiepolo. The blue negative space shape. The face of a Georges de la Tour Mary Magdalene. Do you see the line of her head? No. I'm sensing stomach, sphincters. It's not a stomach. Fine. Gullet. Only insofar as it sounds like music, both horizontally and vertically, harmonically, contrapuntally. The larger meaning of gullet, like the space in a throat. The Italian camerata said the throat was the first dome, a kind of microcosm of the heavenly spheres in the body, the Duomo of the internal cathedral. I see a chair. You know, that Euro Saarinen chair, like retro-futurist meets Hanna-Barbera. Don't make a face. You should be happy I remember any of the exhibits you take me to. No, it's not a chair. Why does it have to be anything? I'm feeling bar stool. I cannot help it. color has a mood, like music. The thrilling brick against the bright olive green. Fire and ice, night and day. Dismantling musical tone, you find color. Dismantling color, you find music. Look, there are shapes under the paint. It makes for modulated difference in another dimension. The liminal resonating throughout in different ways. You use that word again. The one you said you wouldn't use when we look at art. Your liminal is my chair. Chair and cathedral have the same etymological origin. Well, it's not for sitting, I'll tell you that much. It's unstable, for one thing. Look at that black line in the middle. You would think would be decisive, but it isn't, huh? What does that mean? It means my liminal is your chair.
An errant errand. One by one, memories evaporate, change form, lift away, are shed somehow, lost. One departs from the screen into a lost field. The silence is complicated by all that keeps it from being silence, a caesura marked by an empty space. Wind-blown embers carry a precarious future. One dwells, abides in a book not yet finished, drafty, a bright red tarpaulin for a roof. Enchanted, enamored, one prays for the slyness of jackals, the shyness of fawns. Within the confines of a plot, one toggles back and forth between the suspended moments. A comet foretells tumult. Opulent magic stifled, a salamander as an embodied flame. Lithium tarnishing in evaporation pools. Before the soul is shaped, it dwells in a gray realm unknown to the spectrum. One wakes within the chamber of a camera obscura, with only one shadow as bedclothes. To the outside projected inside, upside down, as if one had slept on the ceiling. As if incised by a scrimshander, enough stars to suggest the not yet counted, the infinite. One closes one's eyes and hears the seep of starlight into stone. And our next reader will be
David Humphrey.
David Humphrey.
Oh, yeah, because I...
Find the image.
Thank you.
This is called Stacked. Crimson Poodle becomes a cloudy thought of its own magnificence. It sits on the yellow pedestal to fill an air that can barely contain it. Moser's biomorph mounts a rectangle to tell a story of over and under, on top of and behind. Her grammar of layers crafts a reflection on before and after, one thing after the other, this and that, you and me. The next reader is Sarah Greenberg Morse.
stripes, and a stiletto meet on a cool afternoon in a city under construction. His pipe smokes a modern puff. Her shoe drains through collage stoppers. For both, gravity is working against conscious indifference, as if saying, we must look for our comfort where we can find it. His chartreuse cloud shadow posits, only where the smoke is allowed can we feel a little wicked. Top heavy, bottom light, a murky line of poetry is uttered in the middle. Something about how many colors of gray until we see the sunset over the decay. She prefers to get to the point. Her shoe is draining, after all. Who is balancing whom, she asks, struggling to close her violet lips over the proper M. That's when the edge is met. Our next reader is Stephen Freely.
Let's see what we do here. Good. Well, as a photographer, I am very much aware of a dynamic that has animated photographic discourse in the last 3 decades. A conversation between fact and fiction, index and interpretation, and the medium clattering ping pong somewhere between the two, and always both, arguably. Perhaps there is some correlation between the historical arm wrestle of representation and abstraction in painting. Now it seems fully resolved and happily seeding much contemporary photographic work. This exquisite picture, left, has abundant pleasure in its invention and its decision, its sly and rogue presence. And some of this pleasure is in its toggle between shape and name, or in the crucial insight of Robert Irwin, seeing is forgetting the name of the thing that one sees. Not amnesiac, but a simple purity of sight. If I may proceed further, cleaving content from form. A still life, a product shot, residing in a hallowed showroom vitrine beneath the billowing tint, the seductive theater of retail. Neiman Marcus Short Hills, maybe. Tom Ford or Dolce & Gabbana, specs perched on a velvet turquoise plinth, a gleaming product with its own credentials of glamour, red brand tag semaphore. And sometime after, poolside midday at the Raleigh, 2006. Or, if you would prefer, a decadent black shape, misshapen and possibly opaque, and odalesque slivered into the wedge of green, plop, held into place by clotted gouache, a benevolent blue. A bullfighter's red rectangle behind brings in Motherwell. A tufted visor secures the top, a trace of geometric logic hidden under the surface. One does look forever. The next reader is Lee Eichmann.
Ta-da! And this is called What Are You Forgetting? I visited a bookshop, nothing unusual there, where they positioned the self-help section right where new fiction ought to be. Maybe it was because I was on vacation, feeling expansive, like I had time to burn, but I lingered. Picked up some random self-help book which featured a photo of a perfectly peachy peach on its cover and flipped through its pages. I have this secret. I always read page 29 to see if I'll like the book. And on page 29 was a question featured in 24-point type in the middle of the page. What are you forgetting? In any normal world, the initial caps, let alone the double question mark, would have been cause for dismissal. Instead, after I swam, bobbed in the waves, and belly surfed up to the shore, I took a nap. Lying on my stomach, feeling the pull of the ocean, the pulse of the waves, I was inches from drifting off when there was rising like an insistent, persistent volcano. What am I forgetting? I didn't have a clue. I suspect it was something either weighty, existential, or trivial, which just about covered all the possibilities. Our next reader is Black Star. Star Black. Oh, God. Such a cool name, isn't it?
Hi, it's wonderful to see such a magnificent poetry reading. I just want Jill, thank you.
Yeah.
Jill's piece looked like two Z's put together, so this poem is called Tick Tock. Tick Tock. I need the magnitudes of time. Its rimless inflections, its poinsettias and driftwood and xylem convulsions, to outride what doesn't exist, it. The great goop is runnerless, there is no square deal. To rage, to lust, to write to commend, pertains and amends to all lean-tos, and they too dissolve, like trumpeted presidios, into the lush dust. But I need time, unrushed, for you. The irredeemable, the eye of the tarot, the disentangled, the is. To you I give a quick smudge, its upgathering brood. O Inanna, your wisdom exceeds vast verities. To love a human is to lose. Do something. I can't wink at curtains. Put a word in. Obliterate what's all too certain. Well, this will do. I have only one word, and that is texture.
Let's see. I'm Stephen Westfall. Sex on the beach. Before I even get to sex on the beach, now that you're all waiting for that, I just want to say welcome to Susan's and Jill's super spreader. And what a pleasure it is to see Star and so many other old friends. Two flat, vertically striped ovoids against a gray horizon and a grenadine sky. They are a linked pair, almost exactly the same size, sharing a bridge between them. It's a horizontal band, almost an umbilical cord, or the last stretch of shared matter between two cells separating. They are not humanoid bodies, though ovoids could always be heads. Look at one of Guston's bean heads, a being with an eye. Moser's forms are as basic and as compromised by the stuff of paint and the imagination's perverse equivocality when drawing intervenes. I'm reminded of Guston's paintings just before they coalesced into lumpen but identifiable figuration. There were these contractions of the field into darker testes, heads, almost heads. The generative nature of these forms was proven out. Sexiness is everywhere in Moser's painting, in the ooze and spring, in the close heat of the air, in the conjoining and stretch of separation. The backdrop of horizon and sky echoes Picasso's beach paintings from 1931 and 32. His figures at the seaside from 1931 are sexing it up on a dune rise above a cabana before the beach, sea, and sky. The glare surrounds them. We could all use a cold drink. I'm sober, but I nominate Sex on the Beach. A sort of vodka sunrise, only with cranberry juice substituting for grenadine and the addition of peach schnapps. Bottoms up. It is my pleasure to introduce the Susan Lewis.
Yeah, my page is not there, it's here. Wasn't I 11? Yes.
Yes, here, let's hear it for Jill.
Yeah.
Amazement. Amazement as Ariadne's strung expectancy in ink or oil or beating blood. Here as there, or now as where. Kind, in kind. To merge, emerge this fossil stream, its fallow gleam. Snug chance, sung dance, core cry, creed de cure, creed of cure. Wound and found, in and out, and to and fro. Crown thrown down or overthrown. Hard hearts heard, hurt, here. High flown, low blown, now and ever in this slough of respond. New and known in this lone unowned. Here as there, and now as where. Charles Bernstein is next.
So my poem is not as short as Mary Lucier's. Sad about that. It is only 30 words, so I could say a few more words, one of which is that I was delighted to see the book that Jill and I did, which I think is called The Introvert.
It is.
A long time ago. And that's the title, that's the title of the poem, so the book. And it's a wonderful book. I'm so thrilled to get that. It's a kind of, just a few copies of it, so it's nice to see that there. And then also I was surprised in the introduction because I had thought ekphrastic meant a skin disease that people have in interaction with oil painting. So I was a little surprised by this other idea. So these two are kind of like, could almost work in terms of what I'm doing with this. If you can see those easier, if I look at this, because it's a very specific poem, and it's after H.D.'s iconic Oriad poem. And the title of the poem is Dervish-ish. Dervish-ish, which by the way is, forget Zabelius. Dervish-ish. I should have just left it at that. Whirl feet, whirl your waist over me, splash your top on my bottom, swirl your derby round my heart, cover me with turvies, groundless ground, outside in, take me home. Paul Muldoon.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. No, please go ahead. Sorry, I was just actually taking my cue.
I'm Adam
Simon, I'm last minute dropping here. Yes. Let's see. One can consider this as something observed, an object of appreciation or enjoyment, perhaps even amusement, or as an experience initially had by the artist, now transferred to the viewer. And can the viewer's experience be the same as the artist's? Can epiphanies be shared? What registers first, color or image? The red is so dominant, the other colors recessive, and maybe this hits first. Aggressive red mollified by the pale green, gray taupe, top? I think that's it. The red denotes a structure though, something functional and solid that interrupts, bisects, cleaves, but is also softly overcome by what? Grapes, bubbles, foam. In any case, some soft clustering of spheres, some grouping weighted to the bottom, so slipping. Gravity is another element the mind clocks, and things break apart under its weight. Maybe it's not the color or the idea of a cluster slipping that hits first. Maybe it's the little specks that seem to be spaces between spheres, or light reflected, yet are manifestly nothing but what they are, green specks, separate from everything else, their own community. Paul Muldoon is next.
Right, folks. 17 is what I'm looking for. Can I find it?
We believe in you.
Just while we're looking for that, I must say, first of all, what a marvelous afternoon.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure to be part of this adventure. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
I must say, I am struck, as perhaps some of you will also have been struck, by the fact that despite our being accustomed to the notion of abstraction for at least 100 years, possibly several hundred years, perhaps millennia.
Yes.
It's striking to me that we are desperate for narrative. We want a story, and if we're not given one, we really set out enthusiastically to find one, to make one up. And by the way, that's my own impulse. So when I saw this piece, with at least 2 characters in it, and then perhaps a third, right? I thought I'd go down this particular route. So this is the end of the affair. And by the way, this is not the end of the affair, in the sense that we have an opportunity to continue to celebrate here after this poem. So the end of the affair. Through spring and summer, we would offer thanks for the shady groves of Granville and Glass Drummond. Autumn had set off a few wagging tongues. Now, winter was giving us the silent treatment.